What is up, everybody? Random Random Man here, bringing you my review for the 2016 version of Pete's Dragon. Now, the plot does basically follow our title character named Pete, played by Oaks Fegley, who, at a young age, lost his parents in a car accident and wandered off into the nearby woods, only to discover and befriend a dragon who he calls Elliot. 6 years later, a group of humans discover where Pete has been living, only to wonder how he was able to survive in the woods for so long while Pete keeps Elliot a secret. Now, I have seen the 1977 Pete's Dragon film, and while I think it is wildly outdated by today's standards, I mean, come on, it came out almost 4 decades ago, there's still a bit of charm to be had with it, given the human characters and especially the animation on the dragon Elliot himself, done by the animation director / legendary Don Bluth. So when I saw that a remake of this film was going to be released, I was genuinely optimistic to see what can be done in updating this material. Luckily, right out of the gate, the acting in this movie is simply superb. Oaks Fegley does a magnificent job playing one of our title characters, Pete, with a sense of wonder and secrecy in how this character was even brought up right from the beginning of the film. He's been living in the woods for a very long time, only with the friendship of a dragon that he keeps a secret, and I think that he did a genuinely convincing job in portraying this character. There are many other supporting players in this movie too, including a park ranger who discovers where Pete has been living. She is played by Bryce Dallas Howard. I think she does a nice job in this role, presenting a sense of motherly love and wisdom to Pete once they meet. We also have Robert Redford playing her character's father. Nice to see him on screen. We also have Wes Bentley as the fiance to Bryce Dallas Howard's character. Carl Urban plays the brother of Bentley's character. And we also even have young Ona Lawrence playing the daughter of Bentley's character. I remember her from Southpaw last year, in which she played the daughter of Jake Gyllenhaal's character in that movie. Everyone in this film simply does a terrific job. The story here genuinely stuck out to me from the very moment the film started. This is not a rehash of the 1977 original film, which is refreshing to me as it told a new story set in a different time period that almost made it seem timeless in and of itself. The original film took place, I believe, in the early 1900s, and this remake took place somewhere around the 1970s, the 1980s. The movie doesn't necessarily make it explicitly clear, but the production design does give subtle hints as to when this movie took place. Technically speaking, this movie is utterly gorgeous. The cinematography, the editing, and how it is all strung together, I think it runs very nicely. One issue I do have with this film, basically my only issue I would say, is that the movie meandered a bit with its pacing at about 1 hour and 45 minutes, but that was not very often in my eyes, as I was still engaged with the film throughout. And now let's get to the dragon himself, Elliot. I love the design of this character. It was a subtle nod to the 1977 film and how that character looked back then, but also with the really added depth of how this character really felt like a pet in a way, since Pete was living with this dragon for 6 years, and it really made you feel like the bond between these two was real, even if one of these characters was not on screen for real. With the design of the dragon and the relationship he does have with our other title character, and the added vocal talent of John Kassir in doing the effects for Elliot, and you have something that feels really magical when the movie gets up and going. Within the first 5 minutes of the movie, I was already getting choked up. This movie is emotionally touching throughout. Before even the title card even showed up, I was engaged with this movie emotionally, as it tugged at your heartstrings instantly, and it keeps going throughout the film. Overall, this movie really surprised me in how it all came together. This is yet another live-action Disney movie that has knocked itself out of the park in updating its source material, but also being a really great movie in its own right too. This and the Jungle Book remake we got from earlier this year, I feel are very few and rare examples of remakes surpassing the original. Now, in my review for the Jungle Book, I made it seem like that I kind of dismissed the original animated film that came before its remake. Now, while I do like both the original Pete's Dragon and Jungle Book films, I feel that both of their respective remakes that have come out this year improve on its source material while tributing it in its own right to be an all-new experience that both feel more focused, more tightly directed, and just resonating throughout. Whether or not you are familiar with the original Pete's Dragon, I highly recommend this movie. I think it is a nice treat to be had during the summer movie season that we've had this year. I even will go as far as to say that as of right now, it's probably one of my favorite movies of 2016 thus far, just because of how much it impacted me and making me feel all warm and fuzzy inside by the end. I love this movie. Once again, I highly recommend it. My final verdict for Pete's Dragon is 4.5 out of 5 stars. Thank you all, as always, for watching. Be sure to like this video, comment on what you thought of Pete's Dragon, subscribe to my channel for more, and I'll catch you on the next movie review.